rarely do I get too overtly political on this channel. I'll talk about different stuff when it comes to politics in comic books or in movies, or talk maybe on stream a little bit more openly about it. But I think everyone should go and have a place that they can go to be entertained, which would mean I would have to be entertaining, so scratch that. But I try to avoid it. Now, some of it does shine through, obviously, in my views on certain books or creators or something along that sort, but I rarely get too heavy-handed with it. But this isn't that video. We're going to get into a little bit of politics here, and if that's not what you are interested in, I understand. But we need to talk about what has been going on in the world today when it comes to not only comic books, but books in general. And it feels like we are back to the point where they are burning CDs and burning books. And honestly, it's quite scary. Now, I talked about this situation on stream quite a while ago, and this is a phenomenal read. And I mean phenomenal. I'm going to pin it in the comments so you can see exactly what these 850 books were, but it included V for Vendetta and Y the Last Man. They were taken away from children to read. Now, one thing I have always made clear at my channel is that not only do I love comic books, but I love reading. I love looking at the idea that you can learn through different mediums because we all learn differently. Somebody could be great with going into a textbook, reading and memorizing, and that's how they learn. Sometimes people need a graphic novel and it helps them learn. Sometimes writing it down helps. We all have our own different ways. Some of us are visual, some are analytical. But the idea that all of the variety of life is available for children, young children, to actually look at and be able to learn from, it should be available. Now, there are certain books, of course, that should not be made available to kids, of course. But this one specifically was for older children. Why would you ban V for Vendetta? Why would you ban something that talks about legal rights? Why would you not? This is a sex education book from 1971. I mean, I'm not going to go through this very much, but from the looks of it, it looks like Matt Krause simply typed in stuff like LGBTQ and critical race theory and took out anything with those titles. Literally, why? Okay, we're going to get to what set me off. And this was this. Now, this has been removed from curriculum. A Pulitzer Prize winning Holocaust novel by the title of Mouse. And if you haven't ever read Mouse, you are missing out. It is a phenomenal story about a son interviewing his father who was there every step of the way during the Holocaust, year after year, progressively telling us how it got worse. You know, you have Jews simply as mouse, and you have Nazis as, this video is so demonetized. Please hit like and leave me a comment down below. As cats, and it goes into graphic detail on what happened. It is teaching you history, right? It is teaching you what you should be learning. And sometimes, like I said earlier, maybe this is a better way for some type of person to learn. Maybe they are more visual. And I think there are two books that really changed me. Not only Mouse, but there was another book that I well, there was two situations. But when I was very young, I always read. And I had a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird. Now we are seeing parents complain about that because of race relations in Washington wanting it to be removed. Now, from everything I can find, it doesn't look like that it was, but it's still an ongoing situation. To Kill a Mockingbird is a story that is, and it hit me hard. When I was younger, when I read the book, I was very, very young. I'm talking like 10. And I read the book and I didn't understand why people were treated differently. And I didn't get why the color of someone's skin would make somebody look at somebody as lesser. And that took me through the journey. Not only it took me through the journey of race relations, but I loved Scout. I thought she was similar to how I was. So I saw myself in that character and I thought it was an amazing story. And then there was a documentary on MTV about a man that was beaten to death because he was gay. And those are two stories that I will never, ever forget because they were such moments in my life that changed my outlook for the rest of it. For the rest of my life, those two stories I go back to because they were so life-changing, and neither one of them came from a textbook. One came from a novel. One came from a documentary. And this is another one, but it's a graphic novel. And now we are seeing it taken away, taken out of the hands of children that could use it. And I can keep going and telling you about me, but the fact that they are saying that two big things in this, right? Goddamn and naked pictures. I can literally show you what naked pictures they're talking about on screen because I know YouTube won't be able to pick up on it. Well, they may now that I said it, but because they're not explicit, because they are teaching you history. Are you really offended by goddamn? I guess you're the parent, but if that is what offends you, when your children go out after they turn 18 and you've censored them so much, they are going to have the rudest awakening and the biggest culture shock if you are afraid for them to read goddamn at 13, 14 years old. We're talking 8th grade here. I went through the minutes to make sure. I wanted to make sure. There are some rough, objectionable language in this book. Okay. Vulgar and inappropriate. We do not need to enable somewhat promote this stuff. History. You don't want to promote history. What kind of a world are we living in? Now, I know this is only one area, but you have to see the pattern at this point. I've already named you 3 different times where it happened. When is it going to stop? I am not denying it was horrible, brutal, and cruel. Okay? It shows people hanging. Yes, it was a very terrible time. And if you don't learn history, you are, as cliche as it sounds, doomed to repeat it. It shows them killing kids. Again, history. Why does the education system promote this kind of stuff? It is not wise or healthy. That is, okay, we're going to go on. He actually took aim at the author. I may be wrong, but this guy that created the artwork used to do some graphics for Playboy. Who cares? I don't even know that that's true. I actually didn't look it up. I should have done my due diligence. I didn't. But it doesn't matter. The story is phenomenal and known worldwide. You can look at history, and we're letting do graphics and books for students in elementary. It's not elementary, by the way. If I had a child in the 8th grade, this ain't happening. If I had to move him out and homeschool him or put him somewhere else, this ain't happening. What? Okay. We are talking about teaching ethics to our kids. And it starts off with a dad talking to his son when he lost his virginity. It wasn't explicit, but it was there. Imagine that. Teaching kids sex education, because at 14, they never had any urges. And it really has nothing. And honestly, there's nothing in there. He just wanted to know if he, the first time he got involved, they don't even say sex, was with his mom or a previous girlfriend that he mentions. We don't need this stuff to teach kid history. We can teach them history and we can teach them graphic history. We can tell them exactly what happened. We don't need to see all the nakedness and the other stuff. Yes, refer to the pictures I showed you earlier. They said it normalizes sexuality. I can't take this level of stupid. How fucking ignorant are you? Normalize nudity. Normalize vulgar language. This is where it gets so bad. If I was trying to indoctrinate somebody's kids, this is how I would do it. You put this stuff just enough on the edges so that parents don't catch it, but the kids, they soak it in. I think we need to relook at the entire curriculum because you want to teach them history. This person is clearly not very educated. Like, this actually physically makes me angry that you are saying that teaching history through a graphic novel is indoctrination. Do you realize how ignorant that sounds? I posted this yesterday on my community post because I was irritated. I didn't know if I was going to do a video on it or not. But I got called woke for wanting history to be taught and not erased. Imagine thinking that teaching the Holocaust is woke. We even have Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman. There's only one kind of people that would vote to ban Moz, whatever they're calling themselves these days. There's no reason. There's no excuse. There's no excuse here whatsoever. I actually cannot believe I am even recording this video. This is how ignorant I think this whole entire thing is. I don't know how you raise your kids. And I understand you have every right to raise them however you want. But I find this extremely baffling and scary. And everything we should not be in America. We are going so far backwards. And all over partisan lines because you think it's woke. Yeah. To teach Moss history, a survivor's tale of the Holocaust. I don't know. I don't know. This is really scary. And it's really disheartening to see people actually standing up for censorship. Again, I'll say it over and over again. I am against any sort of censorship, but I do think parents should be able to teach their kids what they want. But I also think they need to teach them history, or you have ignorant people like we just saw saying that it is normalizing sexuality. What? I can't with stupid anymore. This is scary. Let me know, of course, what you guys think about this, about To Kill a Mockingbird, about V for Vendetta, and Y the Last Man, and human rights. God forbid we have those fucking human rights. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.